Welcome back to another episode 64 of the Spittin Hoops podcast. And we're back with a special Black Friday episode. We got no sales on our episode. Obviously, everything's free because, we're men of the people. But yesterday was Thanksgiving. Very thankful for y'all as viewers. And Anthony, what are you thankful for this year?
Oh, Max, I am grateful for a lot of things. Grateful for my family, grateful for my health, grateful for my friends, grateful for you, grateful for the folks that listen to our work. Specifically, I'm very grateful. Last week, I went to an event and I was lucky enough to get a picture with the Larry O'Brien trophy.
Oh, yeah.
So that's championship 18 for the Celtics. So that means everything to me. So to be able to walk into this establishment that I went to, not knowing that it was going to be there, see it, it was truly a beautiful thing. So I feel very blessed, very grateful. How about you, Max?
Yeah, I mean, I want to echo all the things you said, except for the Larry O'Brien stuff. Obviously, I wasn't there, but about family, friends, etc. I don't know, what am I grateful for? Or thankful for? I keep saying grateful. Uh, Kind of random.
Either way.
Thankful for music. I'm looking forward to Spotify Wrapped. So hopefully that comes out soon. I kind of need my yearly update on what I listen to. So
Mm,
and also obviously very thankful for the NBA, which is what we're here to talk about today. We're gonna get
yes,
into a
sir.
lot of stuff. We've got a quiz. We've obviously both got our three big things as we've been doing over the last few podcasts. And it's kind of been an interesting few weeks in the NBA. I think the world's a little bit more focused on NFL season right now. But with NBA Cup heating up, obviously, like I said before, we got to give the people what they want. So, Anthony, you want to take us away on your three big things?
Yes, sir. Um, so I've been trying to make sure I can find some sort of theme throughout my three big things. So last week it was an apology tour. This week it is three R's. So we're talking about ridiculous stat lines, returns, a lot of players coming back from out being out, and then a rules question. I kind of want to float by you that I've thought about a few times, and then it was perfectly encapsulated in a game that was watched last week. So some random stat lines. Shout out to Elfrid Payton coming back in the league after being out for a while versus Indiana. Put up 14, 7, 21, and 2 in pretty ridiculous efficiency in short time. So just anytime you see a guy have 21 assists in a game, that's crazy. But to see that it was Elfrid Payton, that was unbelievable. The depth chart in New Orleans, especially in the guard position, has been bad without DeJounte and CJ McCollum, who are both coming back. But I feel like just based on the way that things are looking in NOLA now, there's a chance that he's able to play his way back into a good rotational spot. So just kind of goes to show that anytime an NBA player is out and comes back in, they're still unbelievably good. So shout out to Elfrid Payton.
Do you want to have some fun? Do you want to guess for the starters for the Pelicans that day?
Um, I mean, I feel like I looked at who the starters were, but
I'll give
let me
you
try.
five misses. I'll give you five
All
misses.
right, sure. Was Yves Messi one of them?
No, he was not.
He was on the bench.
That's one.
Okay, dang, I'm cooked, bro. I don't even know. I should know my Pelicans better. They've just all been so injured. Has Brandon Ingram been playing or no?
No, he didn't
I'm
play.
exposing myself in front of
I think
everybody.
he's back though. I think he just missed like this game. I think he's back now.
Damn, bro.
Okay, so two
Who?
of these you
Yeah.
could get. I think the other two you're cooked.
Was Brandon Boston Jr. one of them?
No, he was off the bench and played 30 minutes.
That's crazy work.
That's three minutes.
Um, Dang.
You're missing an obvious guy who just came back from like a long-term injury.
Was it CJ?
Yeah,
Oh,
CJ.
CJ. Oh, okay, yeah. So CJ, shout out CJ. Um, and I mean, Herb Jones been out, Zion's been out. Uh, I don't know, bro. I'm cooked. Who else is on?
So Trey Murphy,
Trey
obviously.
Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Daniel Tice, who played 15 minutes to Yves Missy's 32. He actually started the game. And Javante Green, who's been playing relatively well, played 30 minutes. Off the bench, there was a lot of Jeremiah Robinson Earl, 25 minutes of him. It was kind of interesting, but
Damn.
yeah, a lot of
Shout
guys
out.
trying to play themselves back in the league. We'll just say that on the back end of their bench.
Pelicans are tough. I just exposed my lack of knowledge right there.
No,
Damn. Um, But
I
we,
would say if you want to have
yeah.
some more fun, they did start, or if you want to give yourself a little bit of credit, they did start Brandon Boston the game right after. So
Okay. All right. So, I mean, he's in there, but
yeah,
yeah, to your point, he did not start. And he's been playing pretty well. So, shout out to him. My next player, though, is a guy that the league kind of has forgotten about a little bit. Russell Westbrook just recently had his 200th triple double. So that's the big stat. And then the last three games, not including the most recent game, unfortunately. So that'll probably bring us down to around 16, 4, 7, and 2 steals per game. Been maybe starting to sync up a little bit with the Nuggets. Pretty exciting just to see. I feel like he's one of those guys that has so much kinetic energy that we don't really get to see turn into potential energy. And I don't know. I just like to see this guy succeed. So hopefully he's able to keep it going. Um, right now they are 3-2 in their last five. So I don't know. Maybe they still need to get healthy, get Aaron Gordon back, and we'll see where this team goes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the Nuggets, so they're obviously having an interesting season. Yeah, I don't know. He's been playing well. Excited for us. Excited for him.
Yeah, feels good. It's like it's weird. Just change your shot, you know, change your shot choice. But other than that, shout out. So, and putting up 12, 4, 6 the game, but again, shooting 39%, just kind of odd. Feel like lost his mid-game range, touch from OKC, lost his free throw, shooting ability. So, but yeah, that's Russ.
I mean,
I got two.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like I'm not like he'll give you a triple double in three straight games, and he's gonna go 0 for 12 like within the next week.
No, very, very, very true. This is a shout out to, I guess, also not only the Najee Marshall, who I'm about to talk about on the Mavs, but also just the Mavs in general, being able to kind of rally and form an identity without Luka. The ball seems to flow a lot more quickly. Kyrie looks unbelievable as their number one option in the moment. I heard something that they are, and it looks like they're playing this way too, where they're scoring the most second chance points in franchise history in the play-by-play era. Not only that, they are playing really like in the paint. Um, it's really cool to see. They got all these big bodies. PJ Washington's been playing awesome, but Najee Marshall, after having four total 20 point per game, 20 point games in his NBA career, is on a 4 game 20 points streak and is 22 points per game in his last 5 games. So he looks in control and he just looks really, really good. Like he looks like he's playing freely.
Yeah, I mean, if he can make up, he's basically playing like Derrick Jones slash maybe a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you brought him in to replace, right? So if he can be that, like it's back up to, Luca and Kyrie to figure this team out. I agree. I'm very impressed with them. Really impressed with also like PJ Washington,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
this season.
Oh yeah.
No, he's been shooting the ball pretty poorly, but I think he's been rebounding the ball really well. Yeah, they're very exciting. I've got a lot on the Mavericks actually, so I'll leave that for later too. One of
Oh
my
sure. I mean, like PJ Washington, 22, 21, 11, and 19 in his last 4 games. Shooting the ball really, really well. Last 10 games, averaging 47% from three, 15 a game, 15 and 10 to your point, double double machine. Rebounding the ball real well. So I think you're going to bring up a point about Luca later on that I'm excited to hear how this kind of fits into the conversation about the Mavs. But shout out to the Mavs, man, and they look good against the Knicks. Like they looked really, really good against the Knicks. They mollywopped them. They were playing great defense.
good against the Nuggets too.
Yeah, that's the game I'm going to talk about in a second. But last guy I want to talk about was just shout out to a guy who I think had a lot of hype coming in to last season, and in Franz Wagner on the Magic was playing really, really well. But I think people were expecting him to like kind of be this like 1A to 1B with Paolo for at least a few weeks there, maybe even a couple months. But he didn't really show up in the playoffs. And without Paolo being there, he's been unbelievable in his last 2 weeks, averaging 28, 6, 7, 2.5 steals per game. So he's really elevated his game to the next level, and hopefully he's able to keep that confidence with him, in order to like just help elevate this team to where you and I think that they could be, which is a potential shot in the dark conference finals berth, right? I don't even think it's shot in the dark anymore if they keep playing this way. So yeah, shout out to the Magic
Yeah.
and Franz.
Shout out to Franz too, because obviously this is all without Paolo, and it makes me wonder if like this, like especially after his performance in Game 7 last year, it makes you wonder if like not
Yeah,
having Paolo here for a while is actually good for his personal growth and development. I just hope he carries us over to Paolo being back. Obviously, Paolo takes so many shots; it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. Um, very impressed. The 6 assists this season are a big jump compared to him previously because I thought that, he shot like in the 20s from three last year. And I thought that his growth potential was going to be, previously had shot like 36% from three. And I was thinking if he can get to like 38% from three, he's going to be a really dangerous offensive player. This season, he's upped his scoring to like 24 a game, but he's not particularly shooting better. And I actually think like it's like the IQ, the pacing, in the game against the Lakers, we had the game winner, right? Like he might have been
yeah,
the best player on the court. And he's not again, he's not shooting the ball better than what he was before. Um, so very impressed with him. I feel like he's just got way more flow and way more understanding the game than he did previously. Um,
sure.
a lot better defensively. So if he can carry this over to playing with Paolo, their ceiling really takes off for me. I'm just concerned about this not carrying over with Paolo.
Uh, that I mean that'll be the question. When you get your best players back, what do they look like? What does the team look like? How do they mold around that guy who was their offensive focal point? It can be tough. Um, I feel like when you look at a guy like Steph Curry, thinking back way back, like 2015 playoffs, when he was out a few games, the Warriors still rolled like, without him. And then he came back and just took it to the next level. So it really does depend on the type of player that you are, the style of player that you are. Um, can you see your team succeed without your presence there and then come back and help add to it rather than detract?
Yeah. Hmm. I
It's a
mean,
tough
I think
skill.
I'm not concerned about Paolo, um, to be honest, but
Mhm.
I think Franz also loses. He doesn't necessarily lock in. Um, uh, he doesn't necessarily lock in on exactly like when is his time. I think Kyrie is like
Mhm.
the epitome of
Yeah.
where I think Kyrie can play next to stars, and it's the best version of Kyrie because he knows when, okay, I need to go on this 4 minute run. Okay, I actually
Yeah.
don't need the ball for the next 8 minutes. And it's like I think Franz needs to maybe find that. And it also makes me wonder how good could Franz be as the 1A player on a different team? Like if he's on the Wizards, if Franz or even if Franz like on the Pistons, playing next to Cade, could I perceive Franz's ceiling to be higher than what I perceive it to be now? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and quick point to Kyrie. I think every time he's played with the top five player in the league, LeBron, KD, Luca, look at what he's done. Like, look how incredible he's been when he's had to be the guy by himself. Besides, I guess most recently with the Celtics, his presence alone wasn't able to move the needle. So, um, yeah, very exciting to see how this Orlando Magic team goes forward.
100%.
Um, last ridiculous stat line is more of a website of a stat line. So wanted to shout out. I don't know anything about who made this shotcreator.com, but it is an unbelievable website that lets you look at any player, their percentages, their specific game logs, their videos, their shot charts, downloading any clips of any players that you want. You can create like your own custom leaderboards with tons of filters, make your takes, push those narratives if you want. You can have your own dynamic shot charts with zones. So it's really exciting. And specifically, if you go to shotcreator.com on its opening website, you can go to leaderboards, and obviously it has the classics, the points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, etc. You can also filter those into per 36 or total. But not only that, right? You can get like minutes, you can get dunks, you can get field goal attempts, you can get corner 3 point attempts, you can get cuts, you can get bank shots. I picked a specific stat. not even paint field goal attempts, which Giannis dominates in, but paint non-rim field goal attempts. So how many of them are you not taking at the rim? And it's guys that you kind of expect. It's Hartenstein, it's Jokic, it's
Huh.
De'Aaron Fox, it's Zion Williamson, Jaren Jackson Jr. I was thinking
What's that?
Ivachi Zubac was going to be on here, and he is. He's 15th. So kind of cool to see like different ways that different players score. So I really like this website. Excited to look through it and filter through it.
Yeah, it's very dope. I actually, when I first saw it come out, because there's been a lot of stats going around about
Yeah.
I'm being a Wizards homer now, but like Jordan Poole shooting the ball really well, and so I just had some fun and like I like sorted all Jordan Poole three-point makes this year. And first of all, his shot quality is not better than what it was before. He's just making more of them.
Just
So
hitting shots.
respect. But yeah, no, this is a great website. Definitely gonna have some fun with this, personally, So yeah, feel free to use it, shotcreator.com. Just spreading the love to them. Yeah.
Absolutely. And stay tuned. Maybe we'll start using this a little bit more ourselves. So, um,
So that's your
all
first
right.
part. The outside of shot creator, the stat line,
Yeah.
ridiculous stat lines. That
Sorry, was that all I had?
yeah, was that your first R?
That was my first R. Ridiculous stat lines. So obviously we could have gone with the bigger stars, but I think part of being ridiculous is the unexpected. So, want to shout out some, Franz, he's an all-star adjacent player, but these other guys are not. So I just wanted to give them some love. Um,
Nice.
all right, let's move on to some returns. Um, let's go into it. I'll just move real quick through this. Some big names. Kristaps Porzingis is back. So happy he's back. Averaged 27 and 2 blocks per game in 59 games last year. Had that iconic game one in the finals. He did suffer that torn medial retinaculum, which dislocated his posterior tibialis tendon in game two of the finals. Essentially, his foot got fucked up.
Nice.
In an unbelievably rare way. So a lot of people talk about how big men can get injured and it's can be like freak injuries and stuff, and that's kind of what happened here. But I'm super excited for him to be back. He's going to bring a different level of offensive versatility to the Celtics, and I think his rim pressure is really just going to continue to take us to where I, as a Celtics fan, hope we end up. So, congrats to Kristaps being back.
Yeah, excited for him. Feel bad for Al Horford back to the bench, but
Back to the bench, but Al Horford's okay with being on the bench. He's 38.
yeah,
He's
he knows the
unbelievable.
deal. He knows the
He
deal.
knows the deal. Like he just wants rings. Like he finally got that monkey off his back. I kept seeing that stat last year where he was the player with the second most playoff games played without a championship. Screw that. I'm happy that that's gone.
And
So
I think this is your one weak spot while he's out. Not that the East can
right,
really expose you at this weak spot, but
right,
yeah.
right, exactly. No players to do that at the moment. My second one, shout out to KD and Bradley Beal returning for the Suns in a perfect time. The Suns were absolutely on a tear to start the season, 9-1, leading the West. Just to follow it up with a 5-game slide was just showing how, you know, as good as the Suns bench, like the players on that team are, like they're solid. It just kind of goes to show without your two stars in this crowded West, you really, really need your stars. So fortunately, at the moment, they're only 3 games back of the 1 seed, I believe. The Suns were 1-6 without KD active. They're 9-2 with him in the lineup after one loss, 10-2 in the lineup where he came back. They crushed the Lakers and then they lost to the surprising Brooklyn Nets, who I know Max has been pretty high on as well.
Yeah. I'm thoroughly excited about the Suns. I just wish a Nurkic upgrade would happen. As much as Nurkic thinks
Yeah,
that everyone wants, did you see this interview? He said he wants everyone wants him to play like KD, but he can't play like KD. And I was like, Nurkic, no, no, we want you to set some better screens and maybe rebound and play a little bit better defense. And so there's that. I would love to see them make an upgrade, but outside of that, their team, they're deep. Like they're playing 10 to 11 guys on a nightly basis, including like obviously like Ryan Dunn, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Tyus Jones. But their
right.
backup center, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Oso Igodaro, is that how you say his name? Like even he's getting 20 minutes. So
Yeah, yeah,
they're
Iguodala,
running the
yeah,
they're running a pretty deep team at this point in time, which I didn't see coming, right? So respect to them. They ran the Lakers pockets obviously 2 games ago, like you said. Impressed. Excited for them to be healthy and continue to figure it out, honestly.
Yeah, man, they need like a Miles Turner type instead of Nurkic. Like a big that can play good defense, can stretch the floor a little bit. I mean, Nurkic isn't the best rebounder, but
I almost don't even care about the stretching the floor that much just because they have so many shooters. I don't know.
sure.
But
But just a center,
yeah.
a good defensive
Someone
center.
someone who defensively could kind of give you a little bit bigger of an edge. Uh,
Right.
yeah, I'm trying to
Um,
like honestly, like, Rob Will is super fun. Rob Will,
yeah,
Rob Will going to the Suns is a really fun trade.
that would, yeah. And you can play him in spots too. Like you don't have to play him for more than 25 a game, 20 a
Yeah,
game.
but the thing is, Nurkic's probably going out the other way in a trade like that,
Yeah.
and so
Back to Portland.
yeah,
Um,
I don't
uh,
really know. Yeah, I don't know if Portland's taking it back. The thing is, I don't know if I don't know if you're getting
yeah,
one while trading Nurkic.
right. What's his value right now?
But they'll be
Um,
fun. They'll be fun. I'm really excited about
yeah.
the Suns team. I think they'll be a lot more competitive than when they got swept last year. So
Uh, yes, they did get swept indeed
yeah,
by a team that we might talk about down the line in the Timberwolves,
yeah,
who've been playing a little off. My last return, shout out to Ja, one of the most exciting players in the NBA. A couple of crazy dunks, or just crazy plays in general. 22 and 11 in a big win versus Portland. Not that Portland's a crazy good team, but just they won by a lot. They needed the win. And with this team healthy, they could definitely be exciting, make a run. So shout out to Ja being back.
yeah. They need to get healthy. I'm obviously a big fan of the Grizzlies. I think I took them very highly in our
You did. You had them like top four, top five.
yeah, and I still believe that if they're healthy, they should be a
Yeah.
top 5 team. Like
Mhm.
yeah, Desmond Bane's been really bad this year too. Devin love that, but they just need to get healthy. Like I can't even take too much stock in any of their seasons. Like I don't know. Even Ja, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure in his return left the game for like a certain period of time too, with the injury, if I remember correctly. So it's like, yeah, I don't know what's going down. I don't know what's happening out there, but there's way too many injuries like
Way too
that.
many injuries,
It's just
but
not the same.
they're still putting up. They're scoring the most points in the whole Western Conference
I mean,
per game.
Taylor Jenkins, who's now the Grizzlies' all-time wins leader as a coach, which is
That's crazy. Good
fascinating.
for him.
Yeah, good for him, seriously. He is a great coach in terms of just manufacturing these guys. Like Scottie Pippen Jr. looked great in the extended run, like replacing Ja. Um,
Yep.
Jake LaRavia, like had like a 5 game stretch where he was playing well, and I thought he should have been almost out of the NBA at the end of last year.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so they figure it out. I mean, I respect the Grizzlies a lot, but they have zero ceiling with all these injuries. Even if Ja's healthy and JJJ's out, like I struggle. Like they need to be firing on all cylinders to compete in this West because that's how good this West is, you know?
Yeah. I mean, also to your point, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys averaging almost 7 points per game. Like that's insane. That is some depth. Um,
They got anyone
so
from Edie to Santi to yeah,
Jay Huff,
J Hub,
Marcus Smart, like
yeah, dude, a
Luke
lot. But
Luke
there's a lot
Kennard, like
smart right now, you know, like it's stuff
mhm.
like that. But I hope like
Yeah.
with Vince Williams, coming back obviously, and then like Gigi Jackson
Yeah,
will be back.
right.
Um, like I'm hoping all that it comes together. But I don't think we're going to see the Grizzlies. I don't think we have a shot to see the Grizzlies at full force for another like month and a half.
Yeah, we'll gotta keep waiting.
Yeah.
Um,
But excited. Obviously, Ja coming back, big part of that.
yeah. So those are my big returns. I mean, CJ and DeJounte also in New Orleans, but that I don't know how much that's going to change their fortunes right now.
They have 4 wins, bro. They're last in the
Yeah,
West.
yeah, we did. Neither of us called that.
No.
Um, but
I did take the under though.
I
Did take
think you did. I think I might have too. I hope I did. But
their under was
anyways,
low too, 39. But
damn, and still snipe that, huh?
it's the West.
Sheesh. It is the West, the Wild West. Um, but yeah, so those are my returns. All right. My third one is a rules. I was watching this when the Mavs were playing the Nuggets, who you referenced earlier had an impressive win against the Nuggets without Luka. But this is something that I've looked at for, I think, a couple of years now without actually having thought about it and just kind of clicked in my head. But as I understand it, the point of an offensive team being in the bonus at any moment during the quarter is it benefits them, right? Would we say that that's like accurate in terms of if you have the ball and you're in the bonus, like that's a good thing for you
Yeah, obviously.
because
Yeah.
you just get free throws automatically.
Yeah.
Um, so if the idea of the bonus is to benefit the offensive team, one of the issues where this does not happen is the Nuggets at the end of the game with a minute to go, less than a minute to go, when you're playing the foul game, they kept finding themselves down by 3 points, but they were in the bonus. So the Mavs, smartly, and as one should, they just immediately started fouling. Because
Mm.
why not? Why would you want to give up a 3 point attempt and guarantee or not guarantee, but open up the chance of you tying the game? One instead, you could just foul them, guarantee that they're not going to tie that game. And then you get the ball back being up one, and then you can just go back and forth. Now, I think it's smart within the rules, but I actually think that the rule itself goes against the spirit of what it's intended to do, which is help that offensive team. It is the only time in an NBA game where the team with the ball in the bonus is now actually being hurt by the fact that it's in the bonus. That's why you see a lot of teams that are down three with the ball get fouled immediately so that you can put them in the bonus and then foul them again, go to the line, take your 2 free throws. So if the idea of the bonus should be that the team with the ball benefits, I believe that the NBA should figure out a way to avoid penalizing teams in this bonus. Now, the NBA has done a lot of good things rule-wise recently. That whole James Harden, Trae Young thing back in 2019, 2020, where they were kind of jumping into players, drawing fouls, that's become an offensive foul, or they just don't call it anymore, which has been great. The take foul has been eliminated. Well, not eliminated, but instead you get an automatic free throw in the ball. So it's, in essence, taking it away. First off, Max, do you see this as an issue? Maybe not the way that I do, but do you see this as something that could be adjusted?
I hear your concerns, but I
Hmm.
actually don't think it should be adjusted. I think these teams should just try to get a steal. If the Mavericks foul the Nuggets, you're down three as the Nuggets. You hit your 2 free throws. You're down one with 14
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
Steal. You don't have to foul the Mavericks immediately. You have a 8 second violation, which can get you the ball back. You have a steal that can get you the ball back.
Yeah.
That that's kind of it's harder. It's definitely harder, but
Mm.
you were down three. Like it's a strategic move. They gave you 2 points, and now you're gonna have to go get a steal or an 8 second violation. I don't know. I kind of think because most teams, when they're down one with 15 seconds left, will foul. They will foul, and they shouldn't foul when they're down one. You should go for the steal until 7 seconds. Until there's 7 seconds left in the game. You basically shouldn't be fouling as a team that's down. And that's the reverse because I hear your face value concerns of the team in the bonus should not be penalized for being fouled, and they are being fouled.
Right.
But the greater thing is this is the team that's down in the game. This is the team. The only way this is a negative is if you're the losing team and we're coming down to the wire. And at
Yeah.
that point, I think there's bigger, I don't know, implications at hand. And so if you're down three, again, I didn't see this at that back end of this Mavericks Nuggets game, but if you're down three with 15 seconds, you get fouled, you hit 2 free throws, gotta go for the steal. I think that's the solution there at that point. So if there's a modification of this rule, I hear your concerns, but I would only like it to be the last 10 seconds of the game.
And that's where I was going to come back to, and I think that if you're down by one for another reason than being down by three and then getting fouled and then going to the line, if you opt to go for a quick two yourself, okay, that's fine. That's part of your game plan. I think I just kind of got hung up on the fact that the team in the bonus, or both teams are in the bonus, fine. It's meant to benefit the offensive team regardless of where they are in the game. Like it doesn't matter if you're up by 20, it doesn't matter if you're down by 20, it doesn't matter if it's the first quarter, it doesn't matter if it's the fourth quarter. So I think the fact that there's this little loophole that's been found, um, the one proposition I had, say we were to rock with your, 10 seconds left in the game, and I think that's fine. Um, if your coach has a timeout or something like that, and again, I'm just kind of spitballing here, but if your coach has a timeout, um, I believe much like how a team in football can accept or reject a penalty, I believe that maybe in those last 10
Oh, you should
seconds,
be
you
able to
could you
accept or
can
reject the foul
accept or reject the bonus
or the bonus.
and say, okay, you know what? We're not in the bonus. It doesn't matter if you keep fouling us for the next, until overtime or whatever the case may be. We're no longer in the bonus. You got to play defense with us straight up.
That is elite. That is an elite idea. And if you foul me, I just take the ball back out and then I get to run another sideline play.
Yeah, exactly. So you can foul. You can keep fouling all you want and make it hard. But you might foul yourself out. If you choose that option, just don't foul on the three.
I love
Um,
that.
or
That
let them let
actually, that I really like that idea. The fact, like being able to decline a foul in like the last like minute of the game
specifically as a bonus
as
foul.
a bonus
Like,
foul. I
um,
I actually really like that idea. I'm not gonna lie. I really like that.
so that way it's a small thing, but it doesn't happen too frequently. Probably happens like maybe 10% of NBA games, but just happen, enough that I feel like it could become a problem if it popped up in a big
Yeah.
game.
Huh.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
anyways,
to be honest, I don't think that it needs fixing necessarily, but I think the
sure.
solution with the like declining of the foul is like a really easy fix. Like a really, really
Right.
easy fix.
Yeah. We're in the bonus. No thanks.
We're good.
We're good. Well, play us straight up.
Foul number 5 on KD. We'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So,
huh.
anyways,
Fascinating. Well, that was a good three things. That was the rule section.
that was my rule opt to like at least experiment tinkering with. So, like leave it in the offensive. If you want to stay in the bonus too, that is your right. Like, we'll not take that away from you either. But yeah.
Huh.
So,
I
those are my
really.
big things.
Okay. Well, then I guess it's my turn to get to
All
mine.
right. Let's get it.
Obviously got three of them. Some of these are tired topics. Some of these are fun topics. The first one is a tired topic, though. I'm sure everyone knows Philadelphia 76ers are having an awful season. They're 3-14. You know, obviously they had that team meeting. They told Joel he's got to come in more. Paul George did a podcast immediately after with Reggie Jackson. Um, yeah, it's not going great, obviously. But I do want to talk about Jared McCain. I think Jared
Mm,
McCain is incredible. I have been saying that I don't think that there will be an all-star from this draft. Um, and I can't unless it's a long-term prospect of the Dillingham type, or like if Topich came in and really panned out, right? Like those ones are a little bit difficult to predict. But Jared McCain might be the guy who I'm flipping on. His shooting is truly incredible to me. The way he repositions, the way he spaces offenses, the way he gets to the rack, the way he stops on a dime in the mid range and shoots it, the way he shoots 93% from the free throw line. Um, I'm thoroughly impressed with Jared McCain, and I think he would be my rookie of the year right now. Um, and I think the ceiling on him is incredibly high. Now, going into the season, if you had told me Jared McCain was going to average 16 and a half points per game, shooting 38% from three and 45% from the field, I would have told you the 76ers are probably a top four team in the East. Unfortunately, it's not gone that way. They're 3-14. Sorry,
mm,
maybe even worse. Yes, 3
yep.
and 14 with a overtime loss to Houston. Uh, the overtime loss to Houston to me being very indicative, because with Embiid, with Paul George, that's a game they could have won for sure. And this team is pretty deep. But at the end of the game, with 2 minutes left, you have Yabusele who's on the court, who was out of the NBA last year. And there's too much talent in the league nowadays to get away with that. Um, you got to go play the Nets. The Nets were going to roll up with 9 NBA players to the 76ers at this point, 9 NBA players. But the 76ers are a lot more discombobulated because they haven't been building to play like this. So I'm really concerned, basically.
Right.
TLDR, I'm extremely concerned. I think Joel should really sit for like a month and a half and get right because he's clearly not right when he plays. Um, and yeah, so I'm really concerned. This is one of the worst starts that I've seen in a while. If you look historically, a winning percentage like this puts them on track with some of the worst teams in the East last year. Um,
Yeah.
they have to pretty much so if let's say like last year to be a playoff team or a top 8 seed you had to win 40 plus you had to win over 39 games the ninth seed was a 39 win team, the 8th seed was a
Yeah.
46 win team. The
Yeah.
76ers aren't winning 46 games, or they aren't sniffing that number. To win 46 games they would basically have to go 43 and 20 the rest of the way. They're not sniffing a win total close to 46. They're going to be a lot closer to 40. And that would be they would, even if they win at a 55% rate for the rest of the year, they're going to win 40 games. So I'm really concerned about even their ability to be a non-play-in team. So that's my thing. I still anticipate that they will finish from this point forward. I think they'll have an over 500 record, probably.
Yeah.
But their ceiling is fully capped for me. And they're gonna play the Celtics round one and get slammed. That's what it feels like.
Sure. I mean, Embiid's look bad. Uh, putting up 20, 7, 3, block a game. He's shooting 38% from the field, 17% from three. He hasn't missed a free throw yet, but that's Embiid for you. Um,
But he hasn't looked good. He
just
hasn't passed my eye test.
yeah.
I have a
I
question.
mean, yeah.
Can I ask you
Yeah.
about Embiid? Where do you
Yeah.
put him in your top 10, 15, etc. now? Before the season, I had him probably top 6.
Hmm.
And I don't want to
I
overreact to
don't know.
free, but he's free
Yeah.
falling still for me.
Well, I mean, at the moment, right, there's probably like 25 guys I'd take over him.
Okay, yeah. But even long-term outlook,
But
this is a bad long-term outlook.
I don't know. I'll go with top 10 before I, change my reservation. But I think to your point, his stock is rapidly falling.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
rapidly falling.
I'm concerned about his ability to reset it, frankly. So I don't know. That's kind of my 76er spiel. I do just want to shout out Jared McCain again, though. I am
Yeah.
impressed. Uh, he really gives me some Steph Curry vibes, like really like young Steph Curry vibes.
Mhm.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I
I
don't, I
mean,
mean, it's high praise. Like he won't be that good. No one's gonna be Steph Curry. Um,
right,
but like he's clearly a disciple, and he's
right.
closer to Steph than Trae Young, like in terms of play styles.
I mean, making people who hated on the TikTok theater kid change their mind one shot at a time. So shout out to Jared McCain. He's being himself, man. He's got the painted fingernails. He's got all these TikTok dances. But the way that he plays on the court is so free. It's so much fun to watch. He's got a smile on his face. It's really refreshing. And I know Sixers fans have been hype about him. So it's great to see that they got this spark plug.
And he fell in the draft. Like they
Yeah.
stole
They
Like
stole him.
the Heat should have picked him instead of Khalil Ware, for example. Although I
And
think that would be pretty good.
oh
Um,
yeah, for sure.
and
I
he's
mean,
gonna
I think
on this.
I mean, yeah, I think he started off a little bit slowly too. With Maxey just, balling and getting ready to take that next step, and then Maxey got hurt and uh
Like they're
he's
forced to play him. And
yeah. It's kind
um,
of weird though that real quick that Paul George has been like saying like we can't have the best player, our best most consistent player being Jared McCain. And I get the thinking of it, right? You don't want your rookie being the best player on a championship team, it's just not going to work. But like, damn, bro, could have figured out a different way to say that.
yeah. Let's get on the court, Paul. Let's get on the court. I watched the whole podcast, bro. The
Oh, you
whole
did.
yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like the moment he posted it, the after, like how are you doing this, man? You're shooting 38% from the field and 28% from three. I know it's 8 games, but like Paul, let's get on the court. Let's maybe shut off the camera for like 2 weeks. Because as much as I hate Draymond, when Draymond goes through bad stretches, he'll shut off the podcast.
Hmm.
It's front running activity, but it's also like do it for the team, man.
Yeah.
Um, I am having fun with their bench pieces though. Yabusele has been really good. Uh, Even with guys like Gordon and Lowry just clearly being too old, you know.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, shout out to him. French legend.
Yes, sir.
Dunking on LeBron enough to sign himself a contract in the NBA once more. Impressive.
I mean, he deserves it. So that's what I got on the 76ers.
Sure.
Next up is a topic that you touched on before in the Dallas Mavericks, specifically on Luka Doncic. And this is a theoretical question because Luka Doncic started his career probably having potentially, if you look at years 1 through 3, he might have had potentially one of the best years 1 through 3 in NBA history, in my opinion. There are some people, won chips in year one, and there are specific examples like that. But in terms of guard goat trajectory, pretty much. Like if you're looking at LeBron trajectories, if you're looking at MJ trajectories, Luca was on statistically and even in playoff performance close trajectories for years 1 through 3, in my opinion. Uh, Obviously, year 4 is when he loses to the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. And I think from that point forward, I wonder if Luca kind of plateaued. Um, since that point, he's averaging more points per game. He has a little bit bigger usage. He's obviously had 2 seasons of being a 33 point per game scorer. Top 3 MVP last year. I don't know if he's necessarily particularly better. Specifically, if we look at playoff performances, I think probably the best stretch of his career is those year 3 and year 4 for Luca in the playoffs. And since then, even his regular season performances have been like on par with those playoff performances, but they haven't like excelled or beat them. And
Hmm.
this season specifically, the reason I'm kind of sounding the alarm is this season's been really bad for him pre-injury. 14 games, 43% from the field, 32% from three. And he's still jacking up a lot of shots, 28 points per game, but it's not it's not Luca. It's not skinny Luca, who lost the Warriors and then did a bunch of hookah in in Slovenia like the summer after. So I'm pretty concerned about it, and especially he hasn't progressed defensively. He hasn't
Mm.
progressed he's better defensively in some way, shape, or form, but he hasn't really progressed. He hasn't really progressed in terms of his shooting. I mean, last year he shot 38% from three, which felt like a progression, but even in the playoffs, he kind of went back to being the 32% to 35% three-point shooter that he is. So I'm a little concerned. I'm just a little concerned because I thought this guy had GOAT trajectory potential, and it is taking him a little bit longer to figure out than expected.
Uh, yeah. So it's funny. On one hand, I'm looking at it. He's 25 years old. Um, About to turn 26 in February. So he's still on the early end of his like supposed prime, right? He has all the skills, the talent, the trainers, the ability to change everything that you're saying around just like that. If injuries don't befall him. Yeah, I mean he definitely looked out of shape and like a turnstile in the finals when it came to defense. I mean, that was kind of what the Celtics were able to excel on. Just knowing that he was not going to be able to stop all of us all at once if we just keep attacking him, make him tired, make him tired. Um, I do think some of the things that are noteworthy is he did have his best free throw and 3-point shooting season last year when he averaged 34 points per game. Almost a damn near triple double. And all those numbers have definitely taken a slip. Maybe the injury is going to be good for him. Like, see what this team looks like without him there and say, okay, damn, all right, these guys are winning in a way where I was not winning. I think for Luke, it's purely a mentality thing. So I honestly, it's kind of a cop out, but I don't have a take um, on whether he's plateaued or not because I truly believe that this is his mentality alone. I mean, there have been stretches where we've been able to call him the best player in the world. Maybe not of late, based on how good Jokic has been, but at least a top 3 player in the world easily. Anytime he wants, dominating games anytime he wants. I tell you one thing though, a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of younger generation people on Twitter, and I know you're about to talk about who we're thankful for. So I hope I don't spoil that too much, but people compare LeBron and Luka's early year stats and they say, "Oh, look how similar these are." This is a different league, man. Like the offensive capabilities of these players is different. The way that the game is different. And my last point on this is if 25-year-old LeBron was in the finals last year instead of Luka Doncic, I don't think the Celtics win. I don't. I think they attack him. I think he's in his absolute prime. Genuinely, I do not know if we beat him. I mean, you got to change some factors and stuff, but I'd be a lot more scared. Like I would be a lot more scared. If you have 25 prime LeBron James with Kyrie and all these guys, I don't know if the Celtics necessarily. Maybe they do in 7, but they do not do what they do to this Mavs team. It's a whole different story. Not to bring LeBron into this, but
I actually I'll push back. I think LeBron still gets waxed. LeBron was getting second rounded by the Celtics when he was 25.
I'm talking about LeBron on this team with Kyrie Irving.
I think they get waxed still.
Who did LeBron have on that Cavs team that was even close to that guy? Nobody.
He had
Nobody.
he
Mo
had
Williams.
he had Defensive Player of the Year, top 5 vote, Anderson Varejao. No, you're right. He didn't have anyone. But yeah. He had Shaq.
He had Shaq, bro. He had Antoine Jameson in the twilight of his career. He had like
But the Mavericks Celtics series like wasn't like close. Like this is the thing. I don't think you just swap out LeBron and he wins them 3 games. Like I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm complimenting LeBron more than I am disrespecting Luka, but
Okay, but
the po-
I don't think you're disrespecting Luca. I think the Celtics were just that good. Almost trying to pay y'all a compliment. I will say though, on the Luca point, Luca last playoffs, and I think this is just going back to him. The reason, and his regular season stats were really good, but the reason I'm a little bit worried about him, we kind of saw it in the first round against the Clippers when he had a really
Mhm.
poor first round, and even round two. He's warming up by round three. He's scoring 33 a game against the T-Wolves in that series. But even in the playoffs last year, he wasn't Luca of the regular season. And so that
Mhm.
started kind of my thoughts there. And now that we're seeing it, it's making me really nervous. And the thing is, again, LeBron got second rounded when he was 25. Like, still got time.
That's
Like
true.
none of them, MJ, LeBron, they didn't get any chips to like year one,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
Luca will need to figure it out, but I guess my overall point is I'm concerned that Luca is heading to instead of being a mini LeBron, I think he'll be a luxury James Harden. And
Mm.
I'm I would rather him be a mini LeBron than a luxury James Harden. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think take away all the shooting splits, like it's the defense. Like he's got to be a neutral to plus defender,
Yeah. It's
you
honestly kind of ridiculous that he can't be. I mean, he's 6'6". Not being a average defender at 6'6" is like pretty rough.
And I think that 6'6" is underselling it. I feel like he's probably closer to 6'7", 6'8".
He's big and he's smart. The thing is, you're that like Jokic should
He,
not be super good
right.
defensively, but there's just an IQ level. The issue is Luca is like Devin Booker sees Luca and says like, okay, like Thanksgiving dinner, like
Yeah. Yeah.
well, like
Legit. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah. Thanksgiving dinner, like as in you ate too much Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, seriously.
Like,
So
sorry,
that
bro.
that's kind of my worry. Is he hitting a plateau? That's sorry, I just dropped my pen. Is he hitting a plateau? Is my thought and question. I don't know if we have an answer, but I'm kind of, throwing the question out there for now. Uh, is this the best Luca is ever going to be? No, Luca will be better, obviously. So yeah, like he's only 25, right? So
But I mean, I think it's fair to question, are we closer to his height than people think? That's kind of what you're floating, right?
yeah,
Sure. I hear that.
not my last section. A little bit more positive. Who are we thankful for? and in theme also. But who are we thankful for? I kind of have just been thinking and loving the state of the NBA, watching that Rockets 76ers overtime game where I am getting hyped about Şengün getting an and one over Yabusele. And then it's like, oh, Amen Thompson just strapped him. Like, oh, awesome. And I was just thinking, like, dang, like, there are 7 to 8 guys that I like on every NBA team, including the Nets, as I've mentioned previously. Uh, I'm just really happy about the state of the NBA. I'm thankful. The three things I'm thankful for are the old guard, Steph, KD, Bron. They're still plugging away. They're still doing their work. Obviously the current guard where it's more of like Jokic, Giannis, Tatum, uh, you know, Luca. And I think those players like really honor the game really well too. Like I don't think you know, no, I think Ron Artest is a really bad example. That was the first thing I was thought about, but like none of them are jumping in the stands.
Mm.
So and they like Giannis specifically in terms of someone who treats the game with so much respect, like that. Like, yeah, very thankful that those guys are the current leaders of the NBA. And then also like the upcoming guard is like next year's draft class, watching Cooper Flag, obviously lose last weekend, but I have that poster dunk. Other guys like Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Nolan Traore, Liam McNeely, like that upcoming draft is going to be so exciting. I'm really excited for it. But even like the Wembys, the Paolos. So I'm just really thankful for the state of the NBA and all the players who are making it such an absolute thrill to watch. And just giving the fans a lot of respect, giving the game a lot of respect. There are cases here and there where that isn't the case, but I think as a whole, this is an amazing time to be an NBA fan.
Uh, that was really well said. Wanted to shout out Giannis, actually averaging a career high in points per game this year, and second highest season in assists. So he's still holding it down, top three season in rebounds. So yeah, shout out to him, man. Absolutely continuing to kill it. Um, yeah, it's man, just basketball's so great. It's so much fun to watch. The skill level is out of this world. Anybody can have a great night on any night. And I think I specifically want to shout out the old guard because we don't have as much time to shout them out as we do. Probably 2 or 3 Thanksgivings left where we get to talk about these guys actively. They are instead of they were. And something I was having a conversation with one of my buddies a few nights ago, actually watching the Suns and the Lakers play. And we were like, man, how sick is this? We get to watch LeBron and KD play. Like, let's go. Like, we're locked in. And I think if you're a tennis fan, this analogy is going to make a lot of sense. But for the longest time, you had Federer and Nadal, and they were just the two guys, and they were just killing. And it was 1-2, 1-2. Maybe LeBron back in the early 2010s, it was more him than KD, but it was still 1-2, and they were obviously the top two guys. And then Djokovic came in, and he fucked everything up for everybody that liked Federer and Nadal. Federer and Nadal. That's how it's supposed to be. These two guys, every once in a while somebody else slips in, but it's just a blip. And much like Djokovic, this other guy came in named Steph Curry, and he just completely changed the whole paradigm of how this was supposed to go. I don't know about you, but I really thought it was just going to be LeBron KD for the whole decade. And maybe Steph comes in, has a few great seasons, much like a James Harden or a Russell Westbrook or
Yeah, you thought he was going to be Andy Roddick or like Andy.
right.
Yeah,
That's perfect. That's a perfect analogy. Right. Yeah. Andy Murray coming in and stealing one. You go,
yeah,
dang, good for you, man. We love
yeah.
that. But he came in and said, no, I'm taking it. And my friend and I, we were both talking because my friend loves KD. Like that's his favorite player of all time. And I mean, I don't know who my favorite player is, but I love LeBron. And we were just talking about like, damn, that guy Steph just kind of came in and it was supposed to be these two guys. And maybe it's like a late 20-year-old, 20s, early 30s kind of thing where you grew up with those two guys. You saw that OKC and in Miami finals, and you're like, these are the teams that are going to be back. Obviously, Harden leaves, goes to the Rockets, but they still got a shot. But yeah, Curry came in, man, and so now with this old guard, much like tennis fans, just came. They said we want to hate and hate and hate and hate on Djokovic and Curry. We just can't do it. It's just not possible anymore. And both of them kind of came in and turned this like one-on-one battle into a trifecta. it's been so cool to see. So shout out to the whole way that thing kind of developed. I'm gonna be honest, I was really resistant to Curry for a while. Um,
I
he
mean,
was just messing with the way it was supposed to be.
that was a terrific comparison, I feel like. Like I feel like that was like an unreal comparison with the three. Um yeah, it's actually funny because obviously those guys are all retired
Right.
now,
On their way out.
on the way out. But these guys aren't. Our
Right.
our NBA guys aren't. I mean, LeBron's not retiring this year. Maybe he'll
Nope.
retire next year. Curry's not retiring this year. He's not. Maybe he'll retire at the end of next year. Like we still got a few years. Gotta appreciate them while we can. And I always just come back to this. I mean, I was talking with a few buddies last night during like a Friendsgiving thing, and it was like just don't remember an NBA without LeBron. Like
Right.
there is a whole generation. I mean, maybe yourself included, that just
Mhm.
there's no NBA that I remember that didn't have LeBron James. And like always have to be thankful for that because he's pushed the league forward in so many ways, whether that be player empowerment, whether that be the money income, players having the ability to become, cultural moguls, right? Obviously I think MJ really started that, but just want to give LeBron his credit where it's due. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it is crazy. I remember like middle school talking about, hey, like, who are you rooting for in the finals, Dirk or LeBron? Like, that's nuts. We were still having those conversations, a
Yeah.
couple of, like 2 years ago. A
That
couple
was
other old guard guys I just want to shout out. Russell Westbrook, 35 years old. James Harden's 34.
James
Obviously,
Harden.
we said
Yeah, hit second on the 3-point list.
that's right. Chris Paul, people kind of forget, but he's in year 20 as well. And he's been balling, averaging 9 assists per game still. Um, and one of my favorite players of all time to watch to this day, DeMar DeRozan, absolutely still cooking. This year putting up 23 game, 4 and 4, just efficient and steady as can be. An amazing mid-range shooter. So these old guys, man, some of them still got it.
Unk still got
Unk still
it.
got it.
I mean,
Yeah, do you see Kyrie was on Kai Cenat's
yes.
stream and he called him Unk and he was like he had to like talk to him in the stairs and he was like, "Don't call me Unk, man. I'm
I'm
32 or
32.
whatever, 33."
I saw that.
It's so
Uh,
funny.
Shout out, Chuck.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, okay. I think that rounds up all the things we're thankful for. Our last section, though, Anthony, I've got a draft. I've not got a draft. I've got a quiz for you.
all right.
Um, I'm a little bit worried it's gonna be too easy, but we'll see. We'll see.
I guess we'll
So
see.
currently, there are 10 NBA franchises whose players have been inducted in the NBA Hall of, or sorry, there are five NBA franchises with at least 10 players inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Hmm.
I'm sure you can get most of the five franchises, obviously, but can you
Mhm.
get them in order potentially
Oh man. In order, definitely not.
from most to least? Of the
Hall of,
top of the five teams with at least 10 Hall of Famers.
so are you saying that like
And this is
I
exclusive
think
for players, by the way. Sorry.
I think the one tricky thing here is that we're gonna see like Lakers have Karl Malone on that list. Type beat, I'm assuming, right? But obviously, like he did not have a Hall of Fame career with the Lakers.
I don't
So,
think he was inducted as a Laker though.
this is like their own Hall of Fame, or what do you mean?
No, I think like in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, as
Like,
a
yeah,
got you. Okay, because there are some players who like maybe like a Paul George who will be inducted to the Hall of Fame as an NBA guy, right? Not
yeah,
as like a if he makes it.
yeah. But the
Right.
list that I'm looking at omits like
Omits.
quick stop buys. Like these
Okay,
are
word. I like that.
the
So no
whole
Gary Payton. Nice, nice. All
yeah.
right. Okay. In order, man, this tough. Top five. I mean, I feel like Lakers Celtics are like 1, 2. I'm gonna go Lakers one.
Oh, it's Celtics.
Oh, of course it's Celtics, bro. Yeah, I guess all the '60s guys. I just feel like the Lakers have been to the finals so many more times than the Celtics. So,
There are more
um,
chips, no? Oh, yeah, no.
no, Celtics have more chips,
That's
18
what
to
I said.
17.
That's
But
well,
oh
no,
yeah, yeah,
but then the in-season tournament.
yeah, that's right. Um, okay, so then that'd make the Lakers two.
Yeah.
Gotta suppose. Okay. So here we're gonna have to go through like historical franchises. I mean, I'm not gonna get these in order. I already haven't, but I'm not gonna say any of these teams, but teams that come off the jump for me. Um, I'm thinking Warriors got to be up there somewhere. I'm thinking Sixers got to be up there somewhere, and the Knicks got to be up there somewhere. The Pistons got to be up there. The Spurs, the Bulls. The Heat haven't been around long enough, even though have had a great like franchise. So damn man. And then there's some like old historical teams, like, but I don't think like a team like the Kings has enough like guys. Maybe the Rockets could be in there. All right. I guess third, I'm gonna toss my safest pick is the Warriors.
They're fifth on this list.
All right. They're fifth. All right.
Um,
I'm 3 for 3 for on the list, but
some fun with them is they've had, I think, three Hall of Famers since 1970. So
oh
all
wow. Okay, so
so
this
all
was
of their Hall of
we're
Famers,
early.
six of their or what, eight of their 11 Hall of Famers are pre 1972.
Can you tell me how many the Lakers and the Celtics have too?
Yes, according to this list, which omits the
Yeah.
stop buys,
Yeah.
uh, Lakers have 18, Celtics have 19. Do you want me to tell you how much the
Okay.
Lakers have?
The Warriors have 11, you said?
11. Oh yeah, I did say that.
Uh, all right. So I mean the Bulls can't be on there because you got MJ, Pippen, maybe like Bob Love if he counts. Um, maybe like Bob Boozer, maybe Artis Gilmore, and then I'm starting to scratch my head, so I'm gonna throw them out for now. Um, Spurs, Gervin, you got Duncan, Ginobili's in it, yeah, I think. But Kawhi, no, because I'm thinking of Kawhi, I'm including him. No, so I'm gonna throw them out. Knicks, Dave DeBusschere, Willis Reed, Clyde Frazier, Earl Monroe, um, Pat Ewing, Bernard King. I feel like the Knicks are on this. I feel like I'm missing at least three guys. So I'm gonna guess Knicks.
Yeah. Um,
Yes.
nice. They're fourth on this list.
All right.
They have 12 Hall of Famers. Um, yeah, Richard
Who,
Gere,
who are the,
Willis
where's your
Reed,
gear? Willis
Dick
Reed. Yeah.
Armstrong, Bill Bradley, David
Bill
DeBusschere.
Bradley.
Yeah, and then
One more.
Walt Bellamy and Walt Frazier.
Bellamy. Well, Bellamy. Okay. Okay. Huh. Because that's not where he won his MVP, was
No,
it?
it's not. But he played 5 seasons there, so
With
they
them. Yeah.
and
Okay. Word.
he was good during his stops in New York. I mean, he averaged 20 points per game. So it
All
wasn't
right.
the peak in was it
I
Baltimore?
mean, he
Was
was a
Bellamy
ball.
cooking in Baltimore in on the Bullets? Is that
I think no, the Chicago Zephyrs.
no way, really?
Walt Bellamy. Yeah.
You're right.
Crazy
He
shit.
must have been on the ball. Well, didn't the Zephyrs become? Didn't
They
they
were.
the
I don't.
Bullets?
Yeah, because they stayed. They didn't stay with Chicago.
I think they
But
became the Bullets. So I think he must have done the whole tour with them before. I'm
wow,
pretty sure.
wow. Yeah.
Anyways,
Huh.
but yeah,
All right, cool.
Nick's fourth on this list.
All right, so number three. All right, so I'm between two teams. I'm gonna lean one, but I'm gonna run through these names real quick. Between Pistons and the Sixers. I think it's the Sixers. So we go Moses, Charles Barkley. I think Mo Cheeks did make it. Did Andrew Toney make it? I'm not sure. Who was the guy that they called the Secretary of Defense? And he was like he won a bunch of or he won a depoy with them, 6 man with them. Um, well, you know who I'm talking about, but Dr. J. And then if we go further back, Hal Greer. Um, I think Wilt was actually a Sixer for a bit, but I might be tripping. AI. I think it's the Sixers.
Yes, the Sixers
Yes!
are third
Let's
on
go!
three for
Come on! Not
um
in order, but
no, that you still cooked. Because there's so before we summarize really quick, the Pistons have 9 Hall of Famers.
mm,
But because obviously they have not only like Lanier, like Rodman, Dumars, Thomas,
they
etc.
got
But
like
they have
Yardley, like full, like Old guy,
They
not
got
Fultz.
like they also have like Grant Hill. They have like weird guys like that.
Oh yeah.
Who was there for 6 years. The Bulls, you know, even on this list was giving them credit for Ben Wallace. You know,
Wow.
it gives
How
them
many did they have?
they only have 8 with credit for Ben Wallace and George Gervin on this list.
Did I get top seven? I mean, by mentioning them?
Yeah.
I
And
mean, all right.
well, the Spurs were the next one. Spurs were the next
Well,
one after that. I think Spurs would probably be a little bit more accurate than the Bulls.
oh, those were the eight.
Yeah, those are the 8. Yeah, so you
Damn.
could and then after that it seems like the Bucks
Bucks, yeah.
etc. So yeah, you
Damn.
cooked. I think the interesting thing like looking at this,
Hmm.
the Warriors basically only having like 3 Hall of Famers since like 1972 cracks me up
That's
for them still to be
crazy.
on this list. Uh but there's not really players who pop up in multiple places on this list. There's not,
Right.
uh exception is Wilt, who played for
Yeah.
the Warriors and the 76ers, obviously, but you don't have a ton of people hopping around when, in theory, you could be like Gervin played for the Spurs and the Bulls, or like Rodman. Rodman's another example there. Uh,
Right.
Obviously, but yeah, Pistons and Bulls, but
Right.
Bulls don't make it. So yeah, kind of interesting.
Ha-
Yeah, Bobby
ha-
Jones made it. Bobby Jones,
Bobby Jones, that was the one.
that was
Thank you.
that was who you're looking for, by the way. Yeah,
Um, and then Bill Cunningham somewhere on that.
yeah, Chet Walker.
So how many Chet Walker? How many on the Sixers?
Sixers have a lot. They have 14.
Dang, and only two chips, right? One chip in 1983, but then besides that, is that it? I think that's it. It's just
Yeah.
one. That's crazy.
Did they win one in the 60s or no?
They might have won one with
They won.
Wilt. Did they win one with Wilt, or was that the Philadelphia Warriors?
Didn't the didn't the didn't the Philly Warriors beat the SF Warriors after the Philly Warriors got Wilt? And then later Rick Barry goes on to beat them?
They have three. 55, 67, and then 83. So yeah, the
Well,
67 team is the one you're talking about.
okay, okay. But I'm not counting that 55, so
Well, that's their, you got to count that. That's their franchise chip.
does that count?
Yeah, the NBA was formed in 1948.
Dude, honestly, if you're like kind of, I don't know. I do like post mic and pre mic, and it's like P mic, like not like C and BC, but it's like
Yeah, that's crazy.
that's how I
That's so fucking
like once
funny.
Mikan, like end of Mikan is like the for
That's
me.
where it's like, well, it is interesting how we like, like choose our spots. Like sometimes we do like post merger, sometimes we do like post like play by player and then mid 90s. So it's like it is interesting like how we tend to define. I'm a guy that like says like once the NBA formed, like you get that shit personally. But I think it's valid to say post Mike and
It's just
because
like there was still a lot of teams folding. I feel like at this point, that's why I'm kind of struggle with it. Like the
yeah.
I don't know Syracuse Nationals, you know.
Oh, Dulce Shays.
That's a
Oh.
pull. That's a pull. Did not remember that he played there. But like, the Lakers didn't retire Mikan's jersey until 2022. So I kind of feel
That's
like
on them.
the NBA also, I almost feel like the NBA also doesn't consider it to be
Sure.
that's the
Yeah.
perceive it.
Right. Damn.
I kind of
That's a
need
good
that
one.
hard line. Like I think funnily enough, I do think like what 1950,
Is it
1955. I
what
think
is it? Is it Bill Russell's first year that you consider like 1959
or
or
retire
1957?
retirement
57?
of Mikan was that 55 if I remember correctly. Which honestly, funnily enough, might mean this is the first chip that counts.
Hey,
It's
let's
first.
go.
Oh God,
Congrats to the 76ers.
76ers. You have an NBA championship.
The championship. Damn. So according to you, the Kings don't have a championship then. Because I believe they might have been before that.
The Kings, dude, the Kings definitely don't have a championship. If
According,
you want a championship in a different city, it don't count. You don't. You
damn.
should not get to. You should have to like drop off the accolades at the old city, like with the Thunder, like what the Thunder did
Right. Yeah.
with Seattle, which I respect. They're like, all
Mhm.
right, like, y'all keep the stats. Like,
Okay. So I'm hearing that the Lakers then have 12 championships. I love it. I love it. Absolutely.
well, I
Lakers
don't even
fans, you
count.
listen.
Apparently, I don't even count the Minneapolis chips because I don't count the Mikan chips.
Wait,
So
so would that mean that the Minneapolis Lakers have 5 championships, but it doesn't go to the Timberwolves, obviously?
that's oh, you're right. But that's like that's NBA before NBA. That's the issue,
Right.
according to my argument.
Huh.
Like they were, it's like the pre-Super Bowl era. Like they won the world championship, but like I
But
don't know.
that was like the NBA/NBL. I don't know. We might have to get
You
into
just did a
this another
slash.
time.
You just threw a slash in there.
Well, NBL, like they fold in like 49. But I think the Kings had the first ever chip or something like that, like 46 or something,
I
like
just think
early,
the
early.
NBA itself is so inconsistent because I think they would say they originally originated in what 1946. I think they would say that.
46, 47 season, I believe, right?
But
Because
again, they
wasn't this 75 year?
if they couldn't recognize George Mike until 2022, I feel like you're lying to me. I feel like you didn't think
That's
that back then.
that's on the Lakers though.
I don't know. Okay, what about yeah, maybe pre-Russell, post-Russell, just so I can invalidate the Sixers chip. Russell came in the league 97, right? Or 57, right? Okay. So
Unreal.
actually, also
I mean,
though,
I'm all right with that.
if we
Yeah.
started in 46, the Warriors got way more chips.
They have 7.
Yeah, with a lot of Paul Ayers in action.
They they have the third most championships in NBA history
Yeah,
for a
but
franchise.
there's a good 60-year gap, you know.
I can see, so I consider them to have the third most.
See, I don't.
Damn, you hating on your own franchise.
Well, they were I mean, they were bad. They were like really bad for like 60 years.
Yeah, they were. But
I can't
that
get
is also
yeah, Paul Ayers
that's
is
also
flipping in.
yeah.
He's pissed.
Niels Johnston
Yes, Neil Johnston is
coming
pissed
out the
right
woodwork.
now.
Yeah, spinning in his grave, I think. Or haunting some like Oracle Arena.
Eh.
Well, that was yeah. Now, what is crazy though is that the Warriors are gonna jump up this, right? Probably, maybe not Andre Iguodala. That's borderline, but let's put him aside for now. But for sure, Curry, KD for sure,
Draymond.
Clay, and Draymond. So that's 4 automatics.
Boom.
Um, and then that will push them up from what they were at 10 or 11.
No, the Warriors were on this list fifth. They're
Yeah,
you mean
how,
total Hall of Famers? They're at
yeah,
11.
yeah, total Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
So
11.
they're gonna jump up. They're gonna jump up immediately to third in
Yeah,
like 6 years, seven
yeah.
years.
You're right.
Um,
And I think
so
I think Iguodala will get it, honestly.
Iguodala could be on there too. So they'll definitely be third in a few
Damn.
years.
And the thing
That's
is,
crazy.
like,
That was a good, yeah.
at this rate though, like if one of the Warriors guys like who was on that 2022 team got a chip at the back end of their career too, like like
Oh
let's
yeah,
let's say
the
Poole was a
coup.
really high impact player. Like if Poole was just 20 points per game for the next 10 years and was like a really high impact player on another chip team, like then there's a route, you know, like there was a lot of young players on that team. So like maybe they're not even done picking.
Huh.
Like I don't know.
Interesting. Huh. Damn, Max, that was a great quiz.
Yeah, that kind of
And
my brain
not,
thing. We haven't been doing enough NBA history stuff.
I know, bro. Like that's that. See, like when you asked me that, like on the fly, who was in the on the Pelicans lineup, and I folded so hard, I was like, please give me a quiz I can do something on. Please help me out, bro.
Anthony's
And you
knowledge of the
came through.
NBA in 1960, Anthony's knowledge of that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what happened 3 days ago?
No, I mean, that was also why I did that quiz, though. It was like to point out the fact, like the first one, it was to point out the fact that I couldn't name anyone on their Pelicans.
Nah, I mean that's it's tough. Like it's tough out here for the Pelicans. But damn. All right, bro. Good stuff.
Anything else you got?
No, man, I'm excited to talk more Emirates Cup. Like I believe next week, we're like actually in it now. Emirates, NBA in season, whatever we want to call it. I think that like maybe we don't count the Lakers chip. Maybe we don't count a few of these first early chips like we don't with the NBA until it gets more established and they pick a name or something like that. Like
We're just
I don't know.
invalidating all. We just invalidated like seven Lakers like wins.
And
Like
and Warriors
yeah,
just said screw you to Minnesota and Philly. But no, man, I'm just it's exciting. Looking forward to Paolo finally coming back sometime soon. Really see how that Orlando Magic team comes along. Really excited to see how the Sixers turn it around if they are able to turn it around to some extent because I still think Embiid can be an amazing player. To your point, the Suns, very excited for them. Love them watching LaMelo Ball shoot one-legged threes. I mean, the NBA is just lit, man. It's just so good.
Before we go, we have to talk about that move. If you haven't seen the LaMelo Ball turning his back to Goga and sham-godding backwards to the three-point line, turns around, chucks a three over a 7-footer, bang. Go watch it right now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That might be a preview for what you might have to talk about next week.
I've been talking about LaMelo too much. I've actually been intentionally avoiding him on the big three things because I've been like, I could talk about it forever. Like when he went 15 for 38, I was gonna do a whole thing about like just the free to shoot players, and I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll have some stuff cooking for next week for
Yeah,
sure. For
definitely.
sure. All right, y'all. Anything you got left, Max?
No, that's it for me.
All right, y'all. Well, hey, happy Thanksgiving to all of those. Hope you guys got a chance to spend time with your friends and family and loved ones. Just so much to be grateful for. So everybody just, take a moment, reflect on, how lucky we are to be around, be alive, and more lightly, watch NBA basketball. A lot of games on tonight, a lot of NBA Cup on tonight. So we'll see y'all soon. All right. And until then, we'll be, as always, Spittin Hoops. Holler at you.
Goodbye.